Hi, here you are watching another Reality Bites from the Australian Hairdressing Council. And I'm sure you'll agree that the insights and the learnings that you've gained so far from this series is really helping you to become a better leader and run a more successful business. I'm Dwight Hodge, the creative leader, and I'm going to share with you today a leadership concept, or more specifically, a leadership communication model. When I was first shown this model, I was surprised at how simple it was, yet also the massive effects it could have on a leader's ability to lead, to influence, and as a result, run a more successful business. Let's jump right in. As I said, it's a really simple model, and there's only three parts to it. There's the intention, the action, and the outcome. So before we move on to an example, let's just break down those three areas. So the intention, or the aim of why you're communicating, or the reason of why you're communicating. With the action, I guess the best way to think about that is how you're going to communicate. And there's so many variables when it comes to how you're going to communicate. On a really a basic example is that communication going to be written communication or is it going to be verbal communication? And if we look at the written communication, is that a sticky note left in the staff room? Is it an email, a text message? Is it a handwritten letter? Is it contacting someone through Messenger or DMing them? And then verbal, is that a phone call? Is it leaving a voice message? Or is it face-to-face in the salon? And then outcome. So what is the consequence of the action that you've taken? Or what is the consequence of the way that you've communicated? And also checking to make sure that the outcome matched the intention. Let's run through two examples. Example A and example B. And what I want you to realize is with these two examples, our intention is the same, but the actions are different. So to set it up, let's say we've got a qualified stylist and we'll call her Jane. And Jane's been with you for a while now, but she's been qualified for 6 months. And within that 6 months after qualifying, she's done a great job of building a really loyal clientele. She creates a great client experience and she meets all the expected targets that you've set her, except for one, and that's being really consistent with recommending home hair care. So our intention of talking to Jane today is that we want to help her just sort of tweak a few things to make that, client experience even better and to make her clients even more loyal than they already are. And the one area that we can see is in that recommending of home hair care. So let's have two examples. Example A, we will use written communication, and example B will use verbal communication. So example A, let's say that you've been looking at the monthly results or the weekly results over the weekend, and you decide that you want to let Jane know that you're there to help her, and you want to help her just tweak those couple of little things to ensure that the client experience is even better. And you decide to send her a text message. It's 6 p.m. on a Sunday evening, and the text message reads, "Hi Jane, just wanted to catch up tomorrow morning before work. If you can organise to be there 15 minutes before your scheduled roster so we can discuss your underperformance in recommending home hair care. Thanks." So that's example A versus example B, where we decide that the best form of communication is verbal. And we want to have that communication not too formal, and we decide that we've checked the book and late morning on the Monday, you've both got a bit of time free. And you call Jane over to the dispensary area and the conversation goes a little like this. "Hi Jane, what a crazy start to the day. You know what, I've just been looking at that beautiful colour work that you did, and I just can't believe how much you've grown in the last 6 months. You're reaching most of your targets and you're creating such a wonderful client experience for your clients. And I've been thinking that I've just seen a few areas that you might be able to tweak to make that client experience even better. And I've got a bit of time free now or after lunch. Which would be best for you to sit down and have a chat?" Let's put ourselves in Jane's shoes. And how do you think she would feel with example A versus example B? I'd have to say that example A, she probably feels like she's going to get in trouble and she's not going to have a great Sunday night. And example B, she's going to really feel like you're there to support her and help her grow, and that the fact that you're going to run through some tips and tricks to help her is all a positive, and there's really not too much downside to that. If we review the example, we can see that the intention for example A and B were the same, however the action that we took was completely different. And the outcome for example A sure won't meet the intention, whereas the outcome for example B in the verbal communication is going to be a lot more closely aligned to the intention or the aim that we had. The challenge I see a lot of salon owners and leaders having is that they are so busy in the day-to-day running of their salons that they kind of feel like they're just running around putting out spot fires. And the challenge with that is that they're completely skipping over the intention and just going straight to action, just like go, 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 communicating and trying to sort everything out at once. And the challenge being, without an intention or without an aim or reason for communicating, you get a whole lot of outcomes that were never intended. And the second challenge I see is that as leaders, you can think about the reason why or the intention of why you're communicating, but don't put enough thought into the action or how you're communicating. And the challenge with that is, like in example A, our intention is right, but the outcome does not align because we haven't thought through the best way to communicate that message to our team. I would offer for you to try it on. And what I mean by that is to use this communication model. And in the days and weeks ahead, what you'll find is that you'll get a lot more confident in this way of communicating and this way of thinking through your communication, and you'll start to see some really good results with your team and individual team members really understanding the intention of why you're communicating with them, and the outcomes that they'll get and the clarity that they will get of what you're wanting will improve. And in the weeks and months ahead, you'll begin to see a real, improvement in your salon results, because the team are more aligned with your thought process and your intention of where you want the business to be. It'd be great to keep the conversation going, so leave a message below or feel free to send me an email at dwight@dwighthodge.com. And I'll look forward to the next Reality Bites.